Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. Acacia Clement and Andy Serling. I'm not going to try the French pronunciation the way Chris did.
Chris went very French on it.
It's very pretentious.
It's
of
very
him.
back
I
of
thought
the
it
throat.
was really,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I think I feel like Charlotte used to say Clement to me.
Honestly, outside of racing, all of us introduce ourselves as Clement.
Yeah, Charlotte
Yeah.
always did that, and so
Yeah.
since she's part of family, I always sort of whatever. Yeah. No.
Well, that's the American pronunciation.
Right. Yeah.
Racing kind of does like the half-half, like Clement, which is incorrect because you're not supposed to really pronounce the T, but it's fine. It's like a semi-French American pronunciation.
Well, it's horse racing. We pronounce a lot of words incorrectly in horse
Yeah.
racing, and we do.
But in daily life, we're Clement.
It's a great thing about horse racing. You're entitled to not know the English language, and you can get by with it. Anyway, got a carryover in the
Christoph
pick
would
six.
say, "Hi, I'm Chris Clement."
Yeah, I know.
Really
He
cool.
would. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Anyway, we got a pick six carryover, 26,500 and change after a very, very difficult sequence where I think there were only 4 winners of the pick six. There was actually one horse that was
The
5
big long
wins.
shot would have made a pick 5.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, correct. But it was a tough
Pretty cool.
sequence
It
with
was.
a bunch of no favorites winning until the last race yesterday. Anyway, we got stuff to talk about as we are sort of plodding along here. Head over to
That's why
Naira
we're
Bets. Use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match with $200 of your initial deposit. Pick six carryover, $26,549. Starts in race number 4 of our 9-race card today. We've got the Saturday contest. You got till post time tomorrow. $300 buy-in. Can only play through Naira Bets. Get all the info at nairabets.com/contests. $5,000 hit and split. Late pick 5 here. You'll want to opt in for that as well. We've got 10 times reward points. Opt in for that at Churchill today. We have the Churchill show on one of our TVs. My friend Caitlin Free. She's getting ready to have a baby.
Yeah, very
No.
excited for her.
I got some pre-pictures of the baby shower the other day. I think she was, I don't know what she was trying to make me feel better for not being there. I don't know.
Oh, that's wonderful. Good for her.
Yeah, no, I like Caitlin quite a bit. And what else do we have? We've got the show 1 to 4 today.
1 to 4.
1 to 4, covering the first 6 races.
You, me, and Greg.
And that's right, you, me, and Greg. Thank you for that. And also we're on from 8 to 11, 8 to 9 in FS2, FS1 and 9 to 11. The Caesars Trotting Classic. Where's this taking place? This in Indiana?
Hoosier, yeah.
Yes, okay. All right. Race number 1. St. Bridget's Cross. We'll take a look at that one for George Weaver. You know, I will say one thing. I guess this horse moved up after the horse that beat her came back and won the Pocahontas. Not a particularly fast race, but did improve her buyer figure relatively soon. I'm not sure. Kenny's one of the guys, he knocks Andy Beyer when the figures on his horses are low, and they're okay when the figures are higher, like so many trainers. But, I think you have to sort of upgrade her a little bit. When I originally got these PPs, she had not won the Pocahontas she had. And she's probably the horse to beat. I don't know. Is she really a dirt horse?
That's my question. It was an off-the-turf race. She does come in for the $50,000 in here. I think she will be probably a little bit overbet given the fact that she faced Taken by the Wind, who did come back to win the Pocahontas, and she got a 72 buyer for her subsequent start. It was a pretty slow race that they ran in Saratoga, and you could see even the winner that day was quite green in the running of that race. She did show improved speed when going the 7/8 as well, so she has a bit of foundation. She kind of makes sense, but I felt that I would rather take a dirt meant horse in this spot.
We'll talk about the horse that I picked as well, Baseball Lady.
Yeah, last time out, she was a little bit nervous in the paddock. Her stablemate won the race, who was a first-time starter, in fact, and early on, Baseball Lady, she was really kind of hard to handle. It looked like she wasn't really traveling comfortably, and Flavien Prat almost kind of dropped anchor and was going to just sit on her, and then she kicked on late. So I think that's with the addition of blinkers. It's now her 3rd start. She also drops in class. I felt that we were going to see a better performance from her today. I wonder if it was something mental last time.
Yeah, no, I didn't feel dissimilar to that. And, there does seem to be some speed with Pinky Briar and St. Bridget's Cross and back to Cali. So hope there's a little bit of speed in this race. And I agree. She seemed like a horse that just didn't really know what she was doing last time. Now, it was her 2nd start. So, you know, she should have been more focused, but she wasn't. I don't think the bobble at the start affected her at all.
No, no,
And-
it was during the actual running of the race.
I was also looking up maiden special to maiden claimers for Safi Joseph, and he's 15 for 34, 275 ROI, and those are dirt sprints. So he wins at a high percentage with his situation. I think he's 1 for 1 with New York breds, though, actually. So
Interesting.
for what it's worth, race number 2, Battle Drum and Ratico. Battle Drum. I think Battle Drum is probably the horse to beat in here. I'm just a little tired of a horse that's over 10 with 5 seconds. Ratico did have some problem at the start in this race, and I thought ran okay. The problem with Ratico is he's just had so many chances.
He has. He kind of threw his head up at the break last time out, and then the short comment says pinched after start, but mostly that was because he had caused his own trouble already, and then that hole closed on him at the beginning of the race. So you see, he does wear that shadow roll. They're adding blinkers back on. He used to wear blinkers, and I would imagine the big reason for that is that he's had some trouble getting out of the gate, and he just seems to sometimes kind of lack focus prior to his races. Nobody was reaching the top 2 that day. Battle Drum was part of the entry. It was Amelia Green who trained the winner, though. The thing with both of these horses, Andy, it's just we kind of know what they are. They've had a lot of starts.
I agree. Can Ski Bum wire the field? We'll take a look at, you know, he actually ran pretty well last time. That turned out to be a very quick pace that collapsed. And I thought he ran extremely well in this race. It's not a barn that's had much success here. We haven't seen the horse now in 3 months.
Well, he was unfortunately treated it for heat after the wire, so that's what it says walk off there. So that's the reason for the layoff.
Can he clear? Because if he does,
he's
dangerous.
Yeah, he has that early speed. He's got the outside post to deal with in here. I don't know. I still was wondering kind of what he is, if he does have the ability at all, but I think that his speed, maybe I was too hard on him. I felt being drawn where he is to the outside, and the fact that he hasn't just shown an abundance of consistency yet.
Yeah, I think Lane's got to let him roll in this race. So why do you like Billy White Shoes?
Billy White Shoes, I think we're going to see improve getting longer. This horse, I think, took money kind of by default. Wesley Ward did not have the best numbers debuting and maiden claiming races in there, and he was off slowly. Whereas Bill Morey, first off the claim on the turf, going sprint to route, 1 for 1. But it seems like pretty much every stat that you look up with this barn claiming, and he's got a horse later I think you're interested in too, with the new acquisition. They seem to improve. They seem to take a step forward. I think with Ruben Silvero aboard, that kind of speaks to them wanting to be a bit more aggressive. And to me, it just looked like he was totally run off his feet on debut.
Bill Morey off the claim at Naira on the turf is 5 for 6 with a $11 ROI. He's 3 for 3 in routes with a big number, and this is why I picked him. I simply am going with a trainer angle in both of these turf races with a trainer that's had enormous success. Now the truth is 5 for 6 probably turns into 5 for 17 over time because the regression to the mean is undefeated, but it'll be a square enough price. I don't really trust this horse. I'm not sure if he's really good enough, but I just wanted somebody new, and I wanted to take Bill's horses off the claim on the turf. Race number 3. I don't think there's any doubt in race number 3 that Undisputed is the horse to beat in this race. I don't have anything really against him. I will say the track was very forward last time, so it probably helped him, but it's not the only decent race he's run, and I didn't want to pick him on top, but I do think he's very much the horse to beat. You're going to try Senegal.
I am. As far as Undisputed, I think that that's an important distinction, that he's not necessarily a 1-number horse. Yes, his last figure was the best, but he had run races 3 back and 4 back, and 2 back he was facing Iron Dome, who won by a pole in that race, and would go on to win the Albany. So I think he's very much the horse to beat. I wanted to give Senegal another try. I feel like the mile suits him much better than the mile and an 1/8. I know that Rudy Rodriguez was very slow. In Saratoga, the barn has picked up a lot since we've come back here to Belmont at the Big A, also out of that Iron Dome race, and he was kind of in that mid-pack chasing spot. I just think this is a better place for him.
I struggled a lot with this race because I didn't want to default Undisputed. It's going to be a very short price. I don't disagree with you about Senegal. He should get at least some pace to run at. My problem was the 1 win in the 4 seconds and 4/3.
I know.
He's just a loser in a horse. And he's sort of, what he really is, he's kind of Refua Jr., right? He's had a third of the start.
Level.
He has almost exactly a third of the starts as Refua, and he's got a third of the amounts of wins. And, you know, I can't pick either of these horses on top because they just don't win. I don't love Mo for the King because he's in a pace scenario. Now, we'll see what Hey Toby does because he's quick too, and
Yeah.
it's not a great scenario. I don't know that Mo for the King can work out a winning trip. But I'll tell you one thing, I thought he ran pretty well in his last couple of
did?
starts. I don't think he's as bad as he may look at first glance on paper. I worry about the race not playing out in a favorable way for him, and I think that's a real possibility. But the more I looked at it, I didn't want to pick Rafeu in the 2 and 6 because they don't win. I don't trust the 3 to run back to that race, though I agree he is way the worst to beat. I don't think he will be 2 to 1. I don't think he should be 2 to 1. I think he should be a heavy favorite in here. His last race makes him way the horse to beat. But I kind of wanted to give Mo for the King one more chance. I don't know if the trip's going to work out, but I also figured he'd be 6 to 10 to 1 in here. And at that price, I'm willing to take a little bit of a shot. Not a horse I'm looking to bet a lot of money on. I'll bet a few dollars on him at a price, but I just didn't want to pick Undisputed. That was all.
Yeah, I agree.
Race number 4, we'll kick off the pick 6. Carry over, 26,549. Eddie, you're so on top of your game here. You really are.
Look at Eddie go.
So counter move. Take a look at counter moves. Last race. In fact, speaking of Undisputed, finished right behind Undisputed.
Yep.
Listen, I know he failed twice at odds on. He did lose to some better horses,
Yes.
but I still can't bet past the fact that he's a money burner. And man, he felt like he had these races wrapped up. And you can say, well, less distance. What was his excuse 2 back? I just don't totally trust this horse.
I actually disagree with that a little bit.
Less distance or?
No, that he's just a money burner without excuses, and he should have won last time.
Well, he lost
know
to
he's a
Palace
money.
Boss, who's better than he
Yes.
is, and Amaya was probably stretching it.
Right.
But
Palace
there's 2
Boss-
in a row. That's my
I
concern.
get that.
Just
I
not
get
just
that.
one.
I get that. But last time, as you could see in the stretch there, and even earlier on in that race, he was getting out pretty much the whole race. And he started drifting a lot in the stretch as well. And Palace Boss just had that better momentum. Actually, was lucky he did not impede that one closing. And as you said, Palace Boss is better. He came back with an 82 buyer in his next start. Undisputed.
Just got beat the other day.
Yeah,
very well.
he's been in
behind
very
Butter,
good
yeah.
form for Horacio. Undisputed, we'll see how he does in the prior race. I actually think that he could be a touch better than he looks. I don't know if the drifting last time was because he was getting tired going the mile or it was a focus issue, but he's been freshened up coming back in here. So I felt that it was worth it to give him one more chance.
I'm not way against him. I just didn't want to take him at a short price in this
He will
race.
be a short
I am
price.
in no way against. He's the horse to beat. It's the same as Undisputed. I think Chris's Song will run okay. He got caught chasing on a speed track last time, but I like Spiteful Storm. I thought Spiteful Storm actually ran well in the first start, and then for some reason they decided to rate last time. Now I understand they weren't going to outrun Long Pour, who ran really well in there and got a big figure. But I thought he was farther back than really helped him. I can't ignore it. He switches to Ricardo Santana, who's been switching from every rider and seemingly doing well.
Ricardo's aggressive. I would imagine this horse should be forward.
I
in
just
here.
feel like at this point he's going to be more forward. I thought his last race was an improvement, all things considered. That race came up very fast, so I'm going to take Spiteful Storm in here, who seems like the other horse against counter move. What about the Pletcher Firster Good Cop, who is a
Didn't
gelding,
know
by the
what
way?
to do with this one. There's really not much pedigree.
No.
It was a $40,000
Tis the law.
yearling
That's
purchase.
a cheap tis the law, man.
And I mean, I don't know. It's kind of wild. I kind of threw him in there by default. He was training at Fair Hill before coming to Belmont, and yeah, I mean, it's crazy. The Tis the Laws have been really precocious and have been runners, and you said it. And for Eclipse Urban partners too, you know. So it's kind
This
of
is not an easy race,
It's
though. He's
not.
not going to win this race with a 63 buyer. You know, he's going to have to run a figure in the mid to high 70s in all likelihood to be successful here. And I don't know if that's that easy. But listen, the barn's going well. 40,000 for a
I
Tis the
know.
Law. Maybe to steal. Sometimes these horses are steals.
because sometimes they slip through the cracks.
Yep.
See.
Race number 5. This is the mile and 3/8.
Yeah.
And the real question here,
This is a fun
obviously,
race.
is distance. I agree. We'll take a look at Sacred. No, what are we looking at? No, your horse, American Debutante, the horse you have finishing third. The only thing I'll say about this last race is, and I have no argument this being one of the horses to beat, I didn't think this horse was really gaining that much at the end, and there was a relatively contested pace. Rob Falcone was annoyed on Twitter after this race that somebody went after him. God forbid a horse isn't allowed to just loaf on the lead.
This horse was the only one that actually stuck around after that pace. So yeah.
No, his horse ran very well. I don't
Yeah.
disagree with him. She ran the best race. I don't disagree. But the idea that nobody else is allowed to be forward when you have speed, to me, is kind of a funny complaint to have in today's game, because that's how bad it's gotten. I guess distance is the question for anybody and
Yes.
everybody in here.
It is the question for everybody except those that have kind of been knocking on the door already. But my thought with this race is that I preferred the ones that were more lightly raced and had fewer chances than some of the others.
And the
in
Abundance
here.
Love, even Innisfree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of them have kind of been there already at these distances. American Debutante is the half to Zofel, who was grade 1 place, greatest stakes winner, who Brendan Walsh trained, who was more of a miler. Star Spangled Banner, he was a sprinter. His progeny can be effective anywhere from sprinting to going long races, though. They can go long. So I just thought that she was one who had a couple of starts already. Yes, she couldn't reach the top 2 last time, but she seems to have that even running style. So that's what gave me the confidence to put her on top.
I wish I could have figured out what to do with the horse I have third and you have second, Equitas.
I know.
Because I feel like she could run better, but I'll tell you something. She didn't do any running, and she
was
was near the
so
rail.
far back last
Yeah,
time, too.
she was really out of it. But she was also on the inside where you wanted to be, so it's not like she was wide or anything. But I agree. I feel like she's a second timer that can stretch out.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm just going with the Bill Murray off the claim thing with Channel Check. I'm not a big fan of Channel Check. I remember I said to Seth Klarman after the race, after she got claimed last time, I said, well, you got claimed by Bill Murray, so be careful. This horse is probably going to win next time out.
I feel like she's tough. She's just been such a disappointment.
She's not very good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a horse that I will say that Chad Brown liked before she debuted, and she's been a disappointment. There's
Short
no
price
question
and
about
debut.
it. But I'm just going to go on the Bill Murray off the claim. I'm going to ride it on both horses today, and when I go over 2, I'll live with it, because I didn't. The other thing was I didn't have any clever ideas in this race. I'm sort of with you on the 3 and 2. I think they make sense, and like you said, there's a lot of horses here I just didn't want to bet on. I mean, they're going to try for more distance with Pemaquid, but they tried that before, and she did. She's just a
so
plotter.
slow
Yeah.
early. I know.
I agree. So
Yeah.
I'll see what happens with the 8, who I think could be forward too for Dylan as well. See what happens in the 5th. We'll come back with the late pick 4, including the Joseph Jimma.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Keisha Clement, or Clement, or Clement, or whatever you want to say. Or I can just call you
Whatever makes
Courtney.
you
I'll just go back to
happy.
Courtney. It'll be
Yeah,
easier
just
that
go
way.
back to Courtney.
I always think of that when your email. We never changed your email.
I know.
No, it's a C. What's the difference?
I didn't have to change my initials.
The same way anyway,
Well,
right?
I made Courtney my middle name, so I am still technically a Keisha
Listen, I
Courtney.
don't know why you took Miguel's name, frankly, but that's a whole other
You should have
story.
taken mine.
Absolutely, I agree. He's Mr. Connecticut anyway.
That's right.
Okay, so race number 6. I like the 6, St. Margaret in here, and she scratched, so I changed
It
my
is a
pick.
shame. I was really excited to see if she would step forward today.
I really liked her, and she's unfortunately not going to play. Sacred Goddess will show her beating Trading Trouble, who couldn't resist a chance to win $1 million at the Claw, and as usual in the Claw, got nothing. I have no knock on her. She's just going to be a super short price. I didn't feel like putting her on top.
Yeah, she will be. She won nicely first time out, and then she went into open company in the Bolton Landing against No Face Princess and Cy-Fair, who I think are both very good. She finished fourth that day, kind of closing up the rail. She did hop a little bit at the start, too. I thought first time out she ran well over Trading Trouble, who would come back to run a quick race in her subsequent start. So I thought that she was kind of the one that I would prefer as she goes back into New York Red Company.
Yeah, no,
Slight preference to
she's
her.
much the worst to beat. I don't have any big problem with her. I just thought she'd be super short, and you know, we'll see. I mean, she got a very good trip when she won that day. I know Trading Trouble came back to win in the next start. Ticket to Ride did not run well, but Ticket to Ride might have been cranked up that day, and
Yeah,
they
I
sold
think that's a
her,
good
and she
point.
ran badly the other day. Feels like they've moved on. As far as Arenado, I'm not sure what to do with Arenado. I'm not
Don't
sure
you think
how good
that
this
she
race
might
was.
take some attention? I mean,
She will.
She went off as favorite. I know tepid favorite, but there were a lot of pedigrees and interesting horses in that race.
She'll be second or third choice
Yeah.
in this race. I don't think she'll be that short. Like I said, I wanted to bet St. Margaret. I will say with her, she was pretty impressive winning.
She was.
She won pretty easily in this
Yeah.
race, and you know, I don't really know exactly what to do with her, but I think she might be okay. Like I said, I thought St. Margaret needed that race. She kind of came alive late in the running. She's sort of figuring out at the end. I wanted to bet her more, but this horse won fairly fastly in there, and
Yeah.
to me, she was just the best alternative. I agree. She's not going to be any kind of special price in here.
It's funny because she's by practical joke out of a Curlin mare, and the second dam is Lover
Love
Dad.
Dad.
I mean,
There's no turf at all.
No turf
No.
pedigree, but she looks like a turf horse. And I had said it first time out. It's just I really wanted to take a wait and see because there was no pedigree, and I just didn't really know what she would do. And she was very impressive. So we'll see if she could do it again.
And I thought there's enough pace in here. She didn't even get that fast a pace last time
Yeah.
when she was closing
She ran
into it. And I
huge.
thought the pace should be honest today. She draws the inside. I think there's an argument that being inside on both turf courses was beneficial yesterday. I'm not really sure of it, though. It might have been a little bit race dynamics. It might have been the horses that were inside. I thought it was a little ambiguous, but I wrote about it a little in Track Trends and thought it was something worth following. But I'm curious about today's turf races.
Just quickly, because
Yeah.
the 6 is scratched, I'm 9173.
Yes. 9173. That was why I changed my picks, because St. Margaret came out
Yes.
right before actually we came on
Yeah,
the
she was
air.
late scratched.
Race number 7. So, geopolitics. There's her race
She did
two
have
back.
a very bad
Well, she
start
did
last time. Yeah.
stumble badly at the start, but you got a lot of heart if you take her again at a short price. I know she's run fast races, but she is one of the great money burners of the last 2 years.
Yes, she is. She's had 10 starts, 1 win, which was a dominant win, and then that seemed to kind of fool everybody once again. And then she said 6 seconds and 2/3, and she did really stumble to her nose last time out. She hit the gate 2 back, though, in this race that we're watching. I mean, she's one of those horses. She wears an extension blinker and an extended cage bit. So she's got a lot of equipment because she does tend to drift. And she's just one that is very tough to trust.
Okay, so we both land on accelerated
I know. I
news.
was
We'll
upset
show
when
her-
I saw you liked this horse because I thought I was being clever.
Well, you're probably not, since you both like her. What did you like about her?
So
Here's her win, by the way, guys.
I thought she won very impressively. She was wide, 2 back when she broke her maiden. It was her first start for Melanie Giddings. And you brought up a point about this barn doing really well in Saratoga with horses that are kind of cranked up for that. And I think that she's kind of the classic case of a horse that regressed off of a big win. She didn't necessarily look as good in her next start, where she was really kind of the standout on the track before this race, and was really eye-catching and won by the length of the stretch in there. I think that she's worth a horse that could potentially come back. She was wide again last time, going the 7/8, and I think it's just a classic case of a horse that regressed.
Yeah, she may well be a one-hit wonder, and I'm going to lose a few dollars finding out whether or not she is. But I agree. She ran
Yeah.
well enough 2 back that she could win that race off of that effort. And, you know, I'm not going to pick geopolitics on top. And it seems like everybody likes Intentious in here. The one thing I'll say is she is a multiple winner in a race of one first. The problem is all those wins, though, were at Finger Lakes. And I'm not sure why I'm supposed to suddenly believe this horse is going to run better in New York when, for the most part, her dirt races are just sort of mediocre. I don't really trust her in New York at NYRA,
Yeah.
the NYRA track, I should say, not in New York.
Yeah, I toyed with putting her on top, but it was the same thing. I just wasn't sure if she was quite good enough. But she did run fine last time out behind City Blocks, and she's run kind of the same figure, turf, dirt, long, short. She just kind of runs there the same type of race no matter the conditions.
So when when I'm Kidding is sort of a funny horse in here because she looks like the loose Speed. She's got one big race here, and Speed was good that day in an off the turf, sealed track race. But does she worry you at all as the Speed?
She does. I looked
worry
at her
me a
for
lot,
such a long time. She was beaten by She's Grand, who would come back to win, improving her Beyer 3 points next time. She also gets blinkers on. She runs her best race when she just rockets out of the gate and shows a lot of gate speed. I mean, she's going to send.
But isn't geopolitics, if she doesn't fall down at the start, going to be right outside of her?
Geopolitics is supposed to be forward as well.
I agree. And I can't imagine Kendrick's looking to rate her in there. I mean, who knows what she'll do.
I just don't think I'm Kidding is that good.
Yeah, I agree. I just didn't think she was good enough either. We'll move on to race number 8, a mile and 3/8 day here at Aqueduct. For what it's worth, Javier Castellano is riding Kigali in here. So we'll take a look at the replay, which involves Fuerteventura and the horse that we both picked on top, the one Outsource. And why do you like Outsource?
Outsource is a horse that I thought running on wide late last time out seems to me like the type of horse that actually did take a step forward when getting to go a bit longer. Always kind of one of those big and solid types of horses that has that long stride, whereas Fuerteventura was a horse in that race that was setting the pace and got run down late. I thought that this was one who actually came on and picked up some pieces, striking me as the type that was one I could trust the most at the distance.
Yeah, I just felt that Fuerteventura is going to have a different trip than last time. Not that she can't win. She's a router reclaimed by Mike Makers, got back form, and Mike does so well in these spots. And I think she's dangerous, but I didn't think would get the same kind of trip as last time. And I don't trust Outsource. You need to break a length slow in there. He did stay on the rail on every turn before angling out, but it just seemed like he was way too far back, relatively speaking, behind a very temperate pace in there. And maybe he'd get a little more pace. He draws the rail with Dylan. And I agree. I thought he showed last time that the distance is okay for him. Was he a horse running when the race was over? A little bit, but I'm not quite sure it was totally that. I wanted to give him another chance in there because there weren't that many horses that I really liked in this race either, to be honest with you.
No.
I mean, Mayor of Midnight, I don't know what to do with Mayor of Midnight because he ran so well 2 races back when he won and beat me. But, I mean,
Me too.
he was terrible.
I liked Fervin for Toby in there. Yeah.
I liked Royal's Pride at like 11-1. But his last race was awful.
Yes.
And now he's getting a rider switch, not a positive rider switch. And I mean,
he got keen last time too, which is something I worry about. And it's interesting that the blinkers are going on.
Maybe it'll work for him, and I don't think he's impossible. I thought about even putting him on top in here because how well he ran 2 races back. I thought his effort 2 back was good, so I don't want to give up on him completely. And here's the other question: is Masterpiece ever going to show up again with a winning race?
I felt I kind of had to put him on. I'll be honest, when there was a scratch in here and Irwin drew in, I really contemplated moving Irwin up and putting him over Masterpiece because Masterpiece is just so hard to trust. But those races are in there somewhere and they keep running him. They keep him on the track. So if he's able to show a little bit of life, at one point he would absolutely smash this field.
He'd be 1-5 in here.
I know.
Why is Irwin supposed to be a mile and 3 ace horse? He's in Australia.
I don't know about that, but I did think that he
Dam?
really needed the last race and had license to improve.
I agree, but he was bad. I mean, I hear you, but I don't know. Maybe
that was a little bit of an
he's a wild card getting in.
Too.
He's a wild card getting in. I know David likes him. I didn't see it, but we'll see. Race number 9, there's going to be a heavy favorite in here. I was trying the number 6 in this race, Derek's Law, but God forbid Linda gets to a car without a scratch. We'll look at insubordination. I don't have anything major against insubordination. The only thing I'll tell you is I like stats with George Weaver. We had a good stat for that horse that won yesterday at a big price. For what it's worth, first time for a tag, non-maidens on the turf, 1 for 12, 26-cent ROI, plenty of shorts, sprints 1 for 7, including losing at 2-5. I just don't. Doesn't it feel like they're kind of dumping this horse a little bit?
Yes, that was my biggest concern. Is that 2 starts back, we saw him running in a grade 3, and then last time out running behind Stars and Strides, who would come back to win.
Not even running that badly in these races.
I know, and so yeah, it is a big concern.
He's going to be so short in here.
He's also a horse that mentally is very tough. So I'm kind of wondering if it's a little bit of if somebody else wants to take him on.
Yeah, that might be the case. He just sort of tough. Maybe he's tough to train. Maybe he's you never really know these
He was a late
stuff.
scratch at one point because dropped the rider and ran off. I mean,
Well, he's insubordinate.
yes, he actually lives
I'm
up to
guessing
his
that's
name.
why they named him that,
I'm
probably.
sure it is.
Right.
Yes, yeah, he can be tough.
Yeah, I like when those things come up. I
Yeah.
never really thought about it. And I'm not declaring him. He's the horse to beat in this race. There's no question about it. He might just be better than these horses and just win by 3 lengths because he's better. I thought that Carongo has actually run okay for Patty Reynolds. You know, you look at his races. I thought the On the Ledge race he ran all right.
You got a little
Some
soft
better
spot for this
horses.
guy.
He's been in some tougher spots,
has.
and I thought his last race he actually ran okay because he did a pretty good job of surviving that pace. Cousin Ed was really just sort of kind of picking up pieces at the end, and Nano Man the same thing. At least he did the work. Now he's got Dancing Bear inside of him as speed as well, but I didn't think there was an abundance of speed in here, and I'm just looking for. So I picked it. I think I picked it 6-2-4-1. I kind of want to be forward in here, and I don't want Cousin Ed, who I thought was sort of sucking up at the end. I don't want Nano Man, who I thought was sucking up in a race falling apart last time too. So I agree about insubordination. I didn't see that many other horses unless I was going to guess with Derek's Law first time in the grass. So I've got Karanga and Dancing Bear as the alternatives.
Yeah, I thought insubordination, if he runs and if it's not just a total give up, just might be the best horse in here.
He probably is.
He probably is. I put Spin Back in second just because he was going to be a price and he's a new face. There is turf in the second
New gelding, too.
generation. And he's a first-time gelding.
Yeah. I wish there is good turf in the second dam.
In the second dam,
The
there
first
is, yeah.
family is kind of
Yeah.
a disaster, but
Well, there's not much pedigree of anything
no,
in the
I
first
agree.
generation.
No, he's a total wild card
Yeah.
in here. I sort of thought about him as well. I even had Ready, Set, Twirl in there a little bit for Rudy. This horse has got some turf races going back that they're not impossible in here.
You
It
actually
all-
could make a case for quite a few in here.
Yeah, it all depends on insubordination. Obviously, if he runs his good race, he's
I know.
probably going to win this race, but I don't totally trust him. All right, that's it. We got to get to work at our real jobs, actually, after this. Head over to Naira Bets. Thank you, Acacia, by the way.
Thank you.
Use promo code MATCH200 and we'll match the $200 of your initial deposit. Play through Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. We have a carryover. Starts in race 4, $26,549. Here's a question. Is insubordination the biggest single in the sequence?
Might be.
There's no single in the 8th, right? I don't think anyone's singling geopolitics, not anybody that's not broke already. I guess a lot of people lean on Sacred Goddess, but I don't know. I don't think she's
Yeah,
that kind of
I wonder
layover.
if you'd use her and Arenata.
I think the biggest favorite in the sequence,
is
counter move, George Weaver.
George Weaver.
Either
George Weaver holds the key.
Pick
to the
6
sequence.
players will love or hate George Weaver. At the end of the day, it's horse racing. Always somebody to hate, even if he's never done anything to you in your life. There's abundance of that in this game. What else do we got? We got the contest, $300 till post time tomorrow. Get more information at nairabets.com/contests. Can only play through Naira Bets. We've got a $5,000 hit and split on the late pick 5. I'm going to opt into that right now while we're sitting here. And we also have 10 times points. If you get points at Churchill Downs today, you'll want to opt in for that as well. And we're on from 1 to 4 today, first 6 races. And then we are on from 8 to 11 in Indiana doing the trotting races. Fortunately for neither of us, we won't be here for that. You stayed until 7 for the jug, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're like an
did.
honorary jug head, aren't you?
The jug was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, it looks
It
like
looks
a great
like a really
day.
great time.
I
to go
don't
to the
appreciate-
Delaware County Fair.
Yeah, I don't appreciate an extended interview with somebody making their own donuts without sending some to us. That was really a tease.
Donuts looked really good.
They looked
actually.
really good, and I felt as though they were just teasing us up on the desk because I do like a donut.
Blueprint.
Looks
Very
like a lot of fun.
impressive
I
yesterday.
agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we're done. Keisha, once again, thank you. Thank you to you for watching. Chris Griffin up next, the reprise, Scratch and Changes. Enjoy your day.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app